Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to the audience across the world. My name is Bharat. I've been in the automotive industry close to 1.5 decades and experience with working with a lot of top automotive companies in multiple countries. The Disenosys team approached me to conduct a session and provide my expert analysis on the automotive industry in general, post-COVID in particular. I'll walk you through a couple of concepts today that are basically defining the automotive industry today, be it in terms of money or technology or the workforce, jobs, or supply chain in general. So when the Disenosys team approached me to understand about what's going on with the automotive industry in the COVID or post the COVID, something that came to my mind is to think about the economy, because the direct impact of COVID-19 is going to be on the economy. And right now, looks like we are staring at a possible recession sometime this year. I'm going to talk about the shape of the recession and how long it is going to be based on the expert knowledge that I heard and I followed and I've been trying to understand over the last 1 month. When we talk about COVID, why do we need to talk about the economy? Or when we talk about the economy, why do we need to focus on the automotive industry, automobile industry in general? So let's go have some fun with the numbers and understand how the automotive industry is affecting the economy and how the economy in return is affecting the performance of the automobile industry in general. These are some fun facts. I want you to pay close attention to it. I'm going to predominantly focus on the automotive industry, in the automobile industry in the United States, because the three big guys, Ford, GM, and Fiat Chrysler, are located in the hub, the US hub. So I believe the performance of these three companies in its hometown, in its own ground, is going to define how things are going to be in the entire world. The automotive industry is a kind of critical component for the economic growth and a lot of interconnections across the industrial and cultural fabric of the world. For example, let's put it in the numbers perspective. The US auto industry alone contributes to 3 to 4% of GDP for the US economy. And it employs close to, the last time I checked, in 2020, it employs close to 22 million people in USA alone. 22 million is 2.2 crores in Indian metric. So in general, around close to 4.5% of the workforce or the US jobs are being dedicated to the automobile industry. And there is a saying in the circles here that the manufacturing is the backbone of the American economy, and the automotive industry is the heart of it. Automotive industry is the heart of the American economy. So I wanted to focus on the money generation and economy that the automotive industry focuses on. I see hands raising. There are some questions already here. I haven't started yet, but I want you to keep the questions with you for a couple of minutes. And there's going to be a dedicated Q&A session at the end of the session after an hour or more. Depends on how long the presentation is going to take. And I do not know the wide spectrum of audience here, but I'm assuming there are going to be the two ends of the spectrum, right from the students to experienced professionals or the CEOs of the companies. So what I'm trying to do today is I'm trying to focus on the topics, touch upon the basics, and also dig deep whenever it is required. Okay, so let's go back to those numbers that I was talking about. It's not about just creating jobs. Like I said, the 4.5% of US jobs are dedicated to auto industry. The workforce, 4.5% of the workforce is contributed by the automotive industry. But the reason why US auto industry is so critical for the economy and the world's performance is it actually engages in strategic partnerships and research and development R&D sector, and some part of the auto industry is also connected to the federal government in terms of it is directly the research and technology is being shared with the Department of Defense, Department of Commerce, the Department of Energy, and Homeland Security, and Environmental Protection Agency. So this is a money minter. This is the one that makes the packet. It brings the money to the U.S. economy, automotive industry. So I think the reason why I wanted to start with the economy and automotive industry relation is to emphasize on what kind of contribution the automotive industry is doing to the economy of U.S. For example, it's not just about the jobs. The auto industry is actually collaborated to top companies, and this because of the multiplier effect. Each job in the United States is estimated to have it's estimated to create 13 jobs. Each job generates 13 different jobs in the world today, and especially in the United States. For example, if you think about Caterpillar, Continental, Cisco, IBM, or Johnson Controls, Intel, Siemens, ZFTRW, or Panasonic, Philips, all these companies are directly or indirectly associated with automotive industry. So it's very important for us to focus on and hope for performance, better performance of automotive industry in order to revive the economy amidst this COVID-19 pandemic. When we talk about the COVID pandemic, looks like this is what the Forbes magazines and Harvard Business Reviews say. This looks like unless the cases increase exponentially, this is going to be a V-shaped recession. I'm sure there are some economists or managers in this group today who understands what is V-shaped, L-shaped, W, and V-shaped, U-shaped recessions, right? Most, among all those, the V-shaped recession is somehow the better one. You don't want to go to the U-shaped or L-shaped recessions. This V, the characteristics of this V is going to be the sharp decline that we experienced in the month of March. And there is an expectation that there is going to be a steep rise once the bottom point, the abyss, is touched. So there is a huge expectation that this is going to bounce back. The automotive industry is going to be bouncing back once it touches the bottommost point. So this is characterized as a V-shaped recession. You see the image of, you see the shape of V, you understand, right? But not before it actually touches the base point. That's the problem. You have to understand the January and February were okay. The automobile industry was doing okay. There was some kind of business going on till the first week of March, before the pandemic chaos actually started. So for the first 2 months, it was doing okay business. So that's why you see some kind of minor single-digit losses in the quarter one results of Ford and GM and Chrysler. But the experts say, the economists say, the second quarter, starting from March, April, May, June, are going to be horrible. So we are bracing ourselves as an automotive professional. We are bracing ourselves to see something really worse. Because at least January and February, there was some business for GM and Ford and Chrysler, the top three guys in US. The next quarter, the Q2, are going to be horrible because there are plant shutdowns across the US and across the world in the month of March. I can tell you quickly that, the Ford, GM, and Chrysler here closed their manufacturing plants, and instead they dedicated themselves to prepare face masks using 3D technology, face shields. That's not the line of business, but at the same time, it's rising to the occasion and serving the public. So when we confine to the automotive industry, the first 3 months saw a dip. You can see the dip in the last, if you are looking at the slide. there is a graph that I'm sharing here in terms of total vehicle sales. The total vehicle sales have gone to dogs here. They're going down the hill. You see 2020, there is a small line that's going down here. So the 2020 beginning of January and February, it was playing somewhere around 17 million vehicles, 17 million vehicle sales in the United States alone. And come April, it has gone to close to 11 million. So there is a dip of close to what, 6 million? Yeah, 6 million in a month. It's disastrous, believe me. I see the chat window popping. Please stop. I have the audio, but the video is not moving ahead. No, sir. We are not actually moving ahead with the video. We are still sticking to the first slide. So stay with us. Okay? Stay with us. There's going to be fun ride for the next 1 hour. I'm going to walk you through some interesting and fun concepts here. So, for example, starting March, this is what the companies are doing. The Ford, GM, FC are producing the face masks and face shields and whatnot. They are using 3D technologies, 3D printing. I'm sorry, I should have said 3D printing. Yeah, 3D printing, and reaching 10,000 masks or 100,000 masks based on their capacity, manufacturing capacity. Nissan, Daimler, Toyota, everything got shut down. Nissan shut it down. The Daimler shut the supply lines, and Toyota, based on the government restrictions on the movement of people and supply chain disruptions, Toyota closed its manufacturing plant, and Honda closed it, and Renault Nissan, along with US, simultaneously closed it in Slovenia, Morocco, and Romania. The Renault is going to be facing tough time. And Volkswagen is confident that it's going to come back. Like there is a recent press release from the Volkswagen CEO that it's hopeful about reopening it and coming back to business quickly. See, I'm talking about some major announcements of the CEOs in Harvard Business Reviews and Forbes magazines. And going back to the COVID situation. So what's next, sir? What do we do? Now what we do is, end of the year, the forecasters, I do not know if you're familiar with the forecasting, qualitative methods or quantitative methods of forecasting using statistics, be it moving averages, exponential smoothing, or regression analysis, or just a qualitative forecasting using Delphi methods or expert advisors. Basically, this forecasting works like this. You look at the previous data, like the recession that worked in the 2008 and 2009, and how the companies bounced back. You're going to look at that and look the present situation and connect them, do a correlation analysis, and predict what's going to be in the future. I'm talking about some important concepts here, so please pay close attention. And yes, we are going to have multiple sessions with deeper analysis on these concepts and how things work, how the automotive industries work, because believe me, the companies here, the Ford, GM, and Chrysler are the automotive big heads here. They're called big boys here. The three big boys of the United States are going to rule the entire world in terms of automotive industry. So I expect you to pay close attention and understand what's going on with in my home here. I'm closely. I can see those corporate head offices from my window. So I'm telling you the real data here. So please pay close attention. So this is how the third quarter and fourth quarter is looking like, and looks like, President Trump announced that the deaths are going to be somewhere around 70 to 75,000, unlike the 100,000 or 1 lakh deaths predicted before. So that's a good sign. And but the forecasters say that there's going to be at least 25 to 30% dip in the sales. Believe me, this is not a good sign. This is not a good news to hear, because it's going to affect all the jobs. There are going to be some kind of furloughs, layoffs across the world, because when the company is not profitable, there are going to be some repercussions for this, consequences, right? So yeah, so there are going to be some 20-30% of dip. And you know what, the predictors or the automotive experts say that few of the trucks, few of the truck businesses or few of the models from top automotive companies, like for example, Chevrolet Tahoe or Ford F-150 or General Motors Yukon or Honda Civic, they're going to be the money minters. These are the popular, I'm talking about the US economy. The Chevrolet Tahoe F-150 are very dear to the American hearts here. So these are called money minters. They're going to make the packet. They're going to bring the cash in. So the experts say that these are supposed to start, moving ahead once the recession is over. The company should focus on producing more models of these, these variants in order to get back to the normalcy. Because, right now, the companies should focus on being not aggressive, focus on the money minters to maintain a cash flow, and also stay afloat during this recession. So it's time to not go aggressively, stay calm, and focus on what's going to bring great value in less time. So yeah, the companies are strategizing their approaches in focusing on what's gonna get them more money as quickly as possible and still push them into profits. This is the current situation as of the last week of March or first week of April. March 24th is Ford Q1 results announced. Somewhere around 23 is GM. And yeah, the March, usually the first quarter results are out for most of the companies. And surprisingly, you can see when I talk about Chevrolet Tahoe and Ford F-150, you can understand why the American hearts are close to those trucks, pickup trucks and SUVs. You can see, quickly have a look at the Ram, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from the right. 6 from your right, you see those Ram trucks. They're still profitable in this quarter. And Tesla, not to talk about Tesla. Tesla is the game changer. Tesla is the outlier all the time. It's doing pretty good. The profits are pretty good despite the assembly plant at Fremont, California is closed. We'll see what's happening in the UK. UK has more problems to deal with. Right now, till now, we have considered only US. I was talking about only US, and let's see what's going on with the UK now.